Today, I'm going to show you how to make beef bacon and corned beef. They start out the exact same way, so we can make each of them from a single whole packer brisket. You will need a large plastic tub to brine your meat in for 1 to 2 weeks, some ice to cool down the hot brining solution you are about to make, and about 4 cups of water. For the brine, you will need about half a cup of curing salt, about a 1/4 cup of salt, I went with pink Himalayan sea salt, 2 tablespoons of peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 6 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of allspice, 2 tablespoons of coriander, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and 6 smashed garlic cloves. Combine the garlic, coriander, allspice, paprika, and peppercorns in a medium-sized pot over low heat to release some of the flavors and make them stronger. In the meantime, you can trim the silver skin and fat off of your brisket. Silver skin is in a thin layer on the top of the brisket and will be chewy and unpleasant on the final product. When the spice mixture is slightly smoking, add the water, sugar, and salts. Heat it up enough that all of the salt is dissolved. Fat is on the lower side of the brisket, and while it will actually be tasty on the finished product, many people prefer to not eat it. Here I am separating the flat from the point. The flat is a leaner cut, while the point has more fat. After all the salt has dissolved in the brine, put it in your brining container with the ice to cool it down. Add the brisket pieces to the brine, then add enough water to cover the meat. Set a plate on top to keep the meat submerged. Wrap the container tightly with cling wrap and store it in the fridge for at least a week, and up to 2, so that the salt and other spices can fully penetrate the meat. When you're ready to make the bacon, get some charcoal lit on your smoker. Wash the brisket off, then pat it dry. I use a pit barrel cooker, which hangs the meat vertically, but your smoker may be different. I also use a wireless thermometer to monitor my smoker. The pit barrel cooker starts out hot, which is good because it will help remove any moisture left on the surface. It will quickly drop to a more manageable 250 to 275. When the meat reaches a temperature of around 160 degrees, you can wrap it in aluminum foil to help it cook faster while maintaining more moisture. This is called the Texas crutch. Very tightly wrap the brisket in a double layer of extra thick aluminum foil and put it back on the heat. When the meat reaches a temperature of about 200 degrees, pull it off the heat. You should wait for the meat to cool down to room temperature, then put it in the fridge before slicing and cooking it, but I couldn't wait, so I made myself a few slices. When you're ready to make the corned beef, you will need a large Dutch oven, chicken stock and water, cabbage, carrots, and potatoes. Put about an eighth of a cabbage, 2 potatoes, and half a cup of carrots, and the brined meat into the Dutch oven. Then cover them with the chicken stock and water. You'll want the meat to be just submerged. Heat your oven to 275 degrees and bring the pot just to a simmer. When the oven is heated and the pot simmering, put the pot in the oven for about 3 hours or until the meat is tender enough to be pierced with a fork. When the meat is cooked, set the oven to warm and put just the meat back in. Add more carrots, cabbage, and potatoes into the liquid, and boil them for about half an hour. When the vegetables are soft, remove them from the pot and put them in the oven with the meat. When you're ready, slice the meat thick or thin, and serve.